Hi everyone, and welcome back to Art with Mrs. S. Today we're going to be creating a work of art from a bird's eye view. So we're going to be looking at pages 24, 25, 26, and 27 in your Davis digital textbook. So what this means is we're going to be drawing like what a bird would see if it was flying high in the sky. If you've ever ridden on an airplane, you might have also seen this view of the world. I'm going to start drawing a bird in my image because I want you to kind of see that this is the vantage point of my bird. So to do that, I'm going to start in the corner and do some kind of curvy lines for the wings. And then I can add in the head of the bird. Give it a beak. You can have his mouth open or closed. And I can kind of come back down and add some more of those feathers for the other wing. When I go to color this in, I'm going to create that all as a silhouette. So this is all going to be black for that eagle or for that bird. Now from that bird's point of view, it's looking down. So in the background here, I'm going to have things like roads or mountains or fields, even rivers, or you might even see these little tiny houses. So if you go to page 26 of your Davis Digital textbook, it's going to show you if I wanted to draw a road, it wouldn't just be this thin line unless I was really, really up high. It still would have some thickness to it. You still might see that roads go different directions. If you've ever been on a plane before and you look down on the world, you might see these different squares. It kind of looks like a quilt. And then I'm going to have another road. It really doesn't matter where it goes or what direction it leads. This one's kind of got a curve or a bend in it. So you got to kind of make up these different roads. I'm going to add in some rivers. A river, when you're up high from a bird's eye view, a lot of times you see that it squiggles like this. And then sometimes it also branches out in that kind of Y shape. And I'll attach some different examples for you. If I wanted to stop here, this is really could be all I do for my art. But I'm going to make this one over here in the bottom corner like a field. So I might see these different rows. It's a cornfield. I could add in a patch of grass. Or maybe I'm seeing like a golf course from way up high. If you ever fly out west, sometimes you see all these blue spots that are pools. I'm going to do a couple more areas that are green patches. Some of these might be brown for dirt. Some of these could be blue for water. But keep it simple. I'm not doing these very detailed drawings of houses. I can't see the really nice details in the water. I'm not going to see boats or animals very clearly. If you look on page 27, it shows like a farm and it's kind of blurred. It's kind of blotched out so you can't see it all. If you see like a group of trees, sometimes it might look like a cloud that's green. Or you might see like a cluster of bushes or some other greenery. So you might have some things like that. When you're all done drawing your detail from a bird's eye point of view, we're going to go in and add that color because color is going to make a huge difference. You can use anything you want to color your art. You might have crayons, markers, colored pencils. You'll see me use markers a lot, but sometimes I like to use a combination of marker and crayon, or I might have oil pastels. I'm going to go ahead and just do this bird first. This is all going to be colored in black. If you're using something besides a marker, maybe you have crayon. Marker is going to go pretty quickly. If your marker is kind of dying like mine, don't be afraid to switch it out or try something else. If the only thing you have is crayon, use crayon. Watercolor paints look nice on these too. You could even do part of it in crayon, part of it in watercolor. You'll see me do today some in marker and some in crayon. Okay, be creative, whatever you can find. If you don't have this nice white paper, you could just use a notebook. You can use a scrap piece of paper. It can be on a colored piece of paper. Maybe you don't have paper at all. You could use a dry erase board. A lot of us drew with dry erase board those first couple weeks of school. And I'll go back and I'll touch up this bird. I'll make it look nice and bright and bold. What's nice when you do a silhouette or like a shadow of a creature like this, You can go back, and maybe I didn't like how curvy those wings were. I can go back and change just those fine details. Now behind this bird, from the bird's eye view, you might have some lighter drawings. So you could do things like crayon rubbing and lay that crayon without paper on its side and drag that color across. And I'll show you how to do that here. If you're using watercolor, it's a little lighter and you can kind of do a fade with it. So if I lay this on the side, now I can do kind of a texture in the background. If this is a road, it's probably going to look pretty dark from the sky. If it's a dirt road, I could do brown, but I'm going to have a paved road. So I'm going to use crayon on it, get that texture. This is another great, if you're not very much of a perfectionist, or maybe get on the lines a little bit, that's going to be okay. You can use different lights and darks of green. You could use lights and darks of blues. I'm going pretty quickly, but you can take your time. Please take your time on this. Fill in all those details. What is water? Where's the dirt? Where are these open fields at? What are you going to be using for those? I have to decide, is this a road or a river? I think I'm going to keep it a road. But this is definitely a river. And your rivers could be blue or maybe brown. A lot of our rivers are kind of, they're dirt on the bottom, of course, so they're brown. And from high up in the sky, they'll appear brown too, or a darker brown. Finish filling this in. Again, I'm going very quickly, but you can absolutely, please take your time on this. But you're going to see lots of earth tones. You're going to see lots of browns. You're going to see lots of greens and blues, depending on where your bird is looking down on. Everything starts to kind of take a flat shape from high in the sky. I'm going to add just a little bit of brown. My brown's an oil pastel, but again, you can use crayon, marker color, pencil, watercolor, whatever you have. Be creative, use what you have. Use a combination of a few things if that's all you have. This brown back here. Definitely want to see those shapes though, so don't go too quickly that you lose those shapes. There are some areas that could appear white from high in the sky. They kind of get muted as you get higher and higher in the air. Or maybe you can kind of see through like this wispy cloud. I'm just going to finish the rest up with green grass. So I have a road, I got something that looks like a pond, I got a couple patches of trees or bushes and foliage, I have a river, and then I also have a field. Okay, when you're done with your bird's eye point of view, don't forget to take a picture and post it to Padlet. Your title is your first, last name, and classroom teacher. Thanks for joining me today.